So here's the twist. The Galaxy S26 Ultra might not actually be as powerful as you think. Even though Samsung's hyped-up Exynos 2600 chip looks like a beast on paper, faster than both the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 and Apple's A19 Pro, it might secretly be holding the phone back in real-world use. Yeah, Samsung's Ultra flagship could end up feeling a little, well, less ultra. Let's unpack why that's happening and why it actually matters more than you'd expect. So, after 4 years of skipping it on the top-tier models, Samsung is bringing Exynos back to the Ultra lineup. The Galaxy S26 Ultra will debut with the new in-house Exynos 2600 built on Samsung's own 2nm process. That sounds like a massive leap forward, especially since this is the first time Samsung's using 2nm tech. And honestly, on paper, it looks like a win. Benchmarks show it outpacing Qualcomm's latest Snapdragon and even Apple's newest chip. But here's the catch, and it's the same story we've heard before. Power is one thing, sustained performance is another. And that's where Samsung might still be lagging behind. A new report says that Samsung's 2nm process isn't as efficient as TSMC's 3nm process, the one used to build Snapdragon chips. That might sound backwards. 2nm should be smaller and better than 3nm, right? But in practice, manufacturing quality and efficiency matter more than just the number. Samsung's 2nm process reportedly consumes more power and runs hotter under sustained loads. In plain terms, that means your Exynos-powered S26 Ultra might throttle faster during gaming, video editing, or long camera sessions, all the stuff that really pushes the chip. Meanwhile, Snapdragon variants could stay cooler and maintain performance longer. So even if both chips start out fast, the Snapdragon one might stay fast longer. Now, for most people, this probably won't matter. Browsing, texting, social media, even casual gaming, you'll never notice a difference. But if you're the kind of person who pushes your phone hard, maybe you record 8K video, multitask like crazy, or play demanding games, then yeah, it might. This brings up the old debate, Exynos versus Snapdragon. And Samsung's strategy this year makes things even more interesting. For years, Samsung's flagship phones have used Exynos in some regions and Snapdragon in others, and that's led to plenty of frustration among fans who feel like they're getting the lesser version. With the S25 series, Samsung went all Snapdragon worldwide to avoid that divide. But now, the split is coming back. The Ultra models will once again use Exynos in some markets, Snapdragon in others. That's why people are paying attention, because if you live in a region that gets Exynos, your Galaxy S26 Ultra might perform differently from the ones sold elsewhere. But here's where things get interesting. Despite all the potential drawbacks, the Exynos 2600 is actually a massive win for Samsung. It's the first serious sign that Samsung's foundry, the part of the company that physically makes chips, is catching up to TSMC. Think about it. Samsung isn't just designing chips for its phones. It's building them itself, at scale, with cutting-edge 2nm tech. That's something only a few companies on the planet can pull off. And even if Samsung's 2nm process isn't quite as efficient yet, it's still a huge step forward. Plus, Samsung's foundry is now offering highly competitive pricing to attract new clients. And that's a strategic move. If it can lure companies away from TSMC, that new business could fuel even more investment and innovation. In other words, the Exynos 2600 isn't just about how it performs today. It's about what it represents for the future of Samsung's chipmaking. We've seen Apple do this brilliantly with its M-series chips. Apple went from relying on Intel to building its own processors that completely changed the Mac lineup. Samsung might be heading toward its own Apple Silicon moment, where it doesn't just design world-class phones, but also controls the performance at the silicon level. So yes, the Exynos 2600 might not match the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 in sustained performance right now, but it shows that Samsung can build serious silicon, the kind that could make future Galaxy phones faster, more efficient, and less dependent on Qualcomm. In a way, it's a trade-off. The Galaxy S26 Ultra might not lead every benchmark today, but it's paving the way for Samsung to take control of its future. For the first time in a while, Exynos isn't just about catching up, it's about setting up something bigger. So, should you worry about getting an Exynos Galaxy S26 Ultra? Honestly, not really. Unless you're pushing your phone to the limit every day, you'll never feel the difference. But if you care about where tech is heading, this is a fascinating moment, one that could reshape not just Samsung's phones, but the entire chip industry. Because if Samsung's 2nm gamble pays off, we might be looking at the beginning of a real comeback story, the one where Exynos finally lives up to its potential and Samsung becomes the master of its own silicon destiny.